All right, so with our handsome Mr. B, we're gonna warm up a little bit with some nice loose leash walk-in. Ready? He's been doing a real nice job today. I know his leg is still a little bit sore. Every once in a while he was, kind of lifting it for a little bit because I think he was doing some walking and some meandering, and then again it sort of bothered him for a little moment. So I'm glad he's got an appointment later today to double check to make sure everything is looking and feeling okay for the handsome guy. So right here, yes. So with the loose leash walking, again, you could do a little bit where he does go and meander a little bit, goes and does a find it, like we did a little earlier with some of the other gentlemen, and then practice this coming back into your space and working those skills. So right here, maybe we could do a little Bodie here. Yes. So gorgeous little recall, smart man. So again, we'll continue with some meandering. Gorgeous. So again, I do like to get the boys comfortable with either side because there could be moments where, like I mentioned earlier with some of the other gentlemen, is there could be something gross up ahead or something on the side of the roadway, and having your puppy switch to the opposite side can be, again, another great task for him to get comfortable doing. Excuse me, yes. Nice job, sir. Smart boy. So we're just ripping up his little tidbits into little crumbs. Nice job, sir. Oh, there's the one we lost earlier. So I might go into another little find it, get him up and wiggling. And then from here, Bodie, here. Yes, nice job. What a smart boy. So we'll maybe do another little recall from the find it. Nice, Bodie, here. He's like, hold on, there's a crumb he missed. Yes, what a nice job. Good boy. Ready? So we'll continue with a little bit of our loose leash walking again. Poor Sterling. He's like, I would really like to wrestle again. I know, but we can't wrestle the whole day away. That's, again, the structured play is definitely more for all the WrestleMania the whole time, with some, of course, of some nice little rest periods. Well, this is looking very pretty. Ready? Get a little set. Yes. Nice job. Yes. So remember too, guys, I know that some of the babes, I'm, again, not a qualified veterinarian or anything like that, but for some of the beauties too, remember that the way your puppy moves can be an indicator for potential ailments down the road. So what I mean by that is some puppies that sit not square, so for example, they don't sit in like a nice little typical sit position, but they tend to do the sideways leg out, or they sit kitty cornered. He's like, lady, I'm starving. Those could be moments where your puppy is actually, oh my gosh, Chew, is trying to, sometimes without even realizing, show that there might be some discomfort. So I know for some folks, like they think like the splooting and some of these items can be really cute, but for some, it could be an underlying condition. So for some dogs, I see a lot of dogs and the way they move and their gait, I can sometimes pick up ailments before maybe others have noticed, not before vets, but sometimes the pet parents don't always see gait changes as a signal to there's something could be off or something may not feel comfortable. So there are moments where I've had certain clients and they're like, oh my gosh, like, here's my puppy and we're struggling with this and that. And I'm like, well, have you ever had your puppy's hips checked? And then sometimes it comes to the conclusion that that puppy that was having a hard time on walks or wasn't as responsive or would sometimes act out was actually dealing with something that was causing some discomfort. So that puppy actually, we found out, had hip dysplasia. And then that was something they had to go and get resolved before they could continue with more training or a behavior plan. So there's definitely plenty of times where I have had dogs in the past that have had injuries. One dog I adopted and I didn't realize from a private home that he already had a partial tear of his ACL and I didn't know. And he wasn't showing symptoms because a lot of dogs are really good at hiding problems until they become too uncomfortable. Bodie, here. Bodie says, hold on. Yes, what a good boy. He's like, I'm coming. So he was just busy off sniffing. I sometimes like to let them get distracted or, involved with the environment and see if they can come back from that. So with my previous dog, Dexter, he was often romping in the yard. He went to run and grab a ball, and when he stopped and turned and pivoted, that was enough force on his leg to then sadly completely tear the ACL and break the meniscus as well. So for him, it involved a sadly pretty lengthy operation to try to repair it. And even after that, it wasn't, of course, as good as it once was. So there's going to be moments where prevention is our goal, but sometimes when something does go wrong, we just want to rule out that we're making sure that what we're doing is going to help the process, not hinder it. So I'm excited he's got a little appointment today with his typical veterinary team, and they're going to hopefully rule out what could be going on with one of his hind legs. Ready? Bodie, here. But again, he's doing stellar. But remember, just because your puppy still does the things they enjoy doesn't necessarily mean they feel okay. There are plenty of dogs that hide, well-known conditions that do technically feel really uncomfortable, but they go about their day and play fetch and do everything as if there was no problem. So just because your puppy is good at potentially hiding some of the pain signals or symptoms, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're comfortable. So that's where we do want to rule out some medical things going on for the handsome guy with his vet. Oh my gosh, it's always embarrassing when your snacks fall out. So maybe we'll try a little bit with our sits. I'm going to see if we can get a little weight. But notice how he's not sitting square. So this is for some puppies, he's like, every time you move, lady. This is for some puppies a signal into, it could be fine, it could be confirmation. Ready? He's so excited. So we're just going to give him a second. Bodie, here. So it could be just the way he does things, and sometimes it is that way. But then for others, it could be something that's underlining. So again, wait. Bodie, here. Yes. Very nice. And again, he wouldn't have to rock a sitting position. So if, let's say, sitting is very challenging for him, depending on how he's feeling, we may find standing and then working a find it and then work a little recall from there. So Bodie, here. He's like, I swear I lost another crumb. Yes. What a good boy. Nice work. You're so smart. So, but if sitting or downing is ever uncomfortable for your puppy or your dog, remember that they can work find its with recall, or they could work a stationary standing position. So remember, depending on how your babe is feeling for the day or what their physique is up to, or whatever's going on, you can always fine tune it and tailor it depending on your puppy's needs or comfort range. So again, a little find it, and then ready, Bodie, here. What a smart boy. Yes, so good. Right, we'll do another little find it. Oh, he didn't see where I threw it. It went the other way. He's like, guys, what the heck? Ready, find it. Now he's on to it. We just pretend. Bodie, here. Oh, so smart. Yes. Oh my goodness, what a brilliant boy. So I'm just, again, his snacks are nice because you can rip them up itty bitty, which is great. So remember how you kind of want to think about your snacks as, again, a paycheck for the behavior or the skill we're working on. But I do find it's better to, almost like I explain it like through money, is $1 and you give it the full dollar. It's just one transaction, one moment. Where if you had 100 pennies, you would have 100 moments to give one of those as a reinforcement, if that makes sense. So you could have 100 reps to practice something versus the one rep. Find it. Nice. And again, the reason sometimes I'm doing some of these find its is it's straight forward motion. Sometimes the pivot and turning is what sometimes can throw off your puppies. So it may be one of those situations where how he's moving, oh my gosh, chew them, how he's moving can agitate if he does have a little bit of a pulled muscle or something. Just like with us, like there's a certain way, like if you do something with your neck and you turn a certain way, it just feels worse. So sometimes it could be one of those things where he just needs rest and then he'll be fine. But we'll play it by ear and see how the handsome guy does. Ready? Bodie, here. Oh my goodness, such a smart boy. So, but maybe we'll do a little bit more with some loose leash walking. Ready? What a smart man. So again, throughout the loose leash, I would recommend feed intermittently here throughout this lovely focus on you. Nice. I'm just kind of gauging his back end, make sure he's not, limping or feeling a little bit funny as we're doing some movement. So I don't want to make him more sore. I just want to make sure we're doing a little bit of practice, but nothing too challenging for his hind end. Yes. What a smart boy. I love his little check-ins he's offering to throughout the loose lead walk-in. Yes. Gorgeous. So we might again see if we can send him away for another little find it. Good job. Sterling says, I would rather come out and wrestle again. Ready? Oh, good check-in. Beautiful. So we'll do another little find it. So where to go? And then ready? Bodie, here. Yes, what a smart boy. So maybe what we'll do is we'll give Mr. B a little break from some of the loose leash walk-ins, some of those recalls from find its and some of those weights. And then I want to see if we can work again a little bit more with his place behavior, working that stay. And then I want to include some of those leave it items again, or some leave it distraction items, and see how he does with being stationary throughout that. Bodie, here. Yes, what a smart boy. So we'll do a little find it, give him a little breather for a second, and then we'll rotate through some of those other skills for Mr. B.